Hi everyone, this is
Look, we're not showing. Ah! Jeff got bald. You know what? Fuck you. Hold on. Hold on. He does have more hair than me, doesn't he? Fuck. You got me. So,
Jeff.
hold on. So I can do this.
Hi everyone, this is Jeff with the Overwatch team. Really excited to be back here in 2020 for our first developer update.
So, I thought the better way to do this, I guess, fuck, it's gonna be on YouTube. I didn't really plan for me to put my face on Jeff's face, but I didn't want to show the whole video. So, technically, we're only showing, like, 80% of it. And that's not plagiarism, right? I'm not a player. It is. Alright, hold on. People are showing me that it is. Well, look, I just don't want to look at Jeff's face again.
So everyone on the Overwatch
So this is what I thought I was going to do. I was going to talk about this video. I'm just gonna let him talk through it, and then we'll talk about that. And then there's a bunch of posts that happen, so we'll go over that as well. And I'll go over what I think kind of at the end, and just kind of give my overall thing.
team listens to and gets a ton of feedback about the game, and we love hearing from you. And in the past few months, I would say, you know, this isn't based on science, but there are two topics that come up the most, that we hear of the most. One is, what's a team's philosophy on balance, and could the team balance the game more frequently and or better?
It's like a Bethesda game.
That comes up a lot, like a lot of discussion about the balance of gameplay and hero balance. And then the other thing that we hear a lot of feedback and comments on is the concept of the meta of the game. You know, what heroes are played, are there other heroes that are viable to be played at any time, and what could the Overwatch team do to make sure that the meta was moving along more fluidly and more frequently. So I want to spend today's developer update talking about some things that we're doing very soon that will address these 2 points, balance and the meta. So let's start with balance. I think everybody's interested in balance in some way or another. In the past, the Overwatch team has faced some criticism for being a little bit slow when it...
Slow is an understatement. It was closer to balls slow than anything else. Like, it was on its way to what I would categorize as molasses.
When it comes to our balance patches, we've often heard that players want to see
1.5? Can we do 1.5? Let me talk to my tech guy and let's see if we can do 1.5.
balance more frequently. They want us to try more things. They want us to be more aggressive with changes. They want us to be willing to revert changes that the community...
Is that one? Is that okay? Is everyone 1.25? All right. It's funny. Tree is probably the closest thing to my tech guy, so he says 1.25.
perceives as not being good. We have tried to use the public test realm in the past to test some balance changes, but as you know, things stay on the PTR, the public test.
So they will address this. I guess we can
realm for quite some time, and we don't always make a lot of dramatic changes once something makes its way to the public test realm.
That is all true.
We have something that I think is really cool and really exciting in the pipe and in the works that will be coming soon to Overwatch, which is called the experimental card. So we have our main play cards, as you know, there's quick play, competitive, the game browser.
Does anyone mind if I take a break to bring a prop in. Because he says cards. And I just want to... Hey, Schnookums. Snooky Wookie. Where are the Switch cards at? From the pack? Look, guys, if I just read this out, it's going to be boring. So we're just going to...
Oh, I think you moved them in.
Oh, there they are.
I was right. You moved them. You have them. Where are they?
Too short. Can I see this? Alright. Alright. Going back over here. We're going over here. No, go back here. Fuck, I fucked that camera up? Shit. Alright. Oh wait, I could just do filters. Undo the filter. Perfect. Alright. This may be stupid, this may not. I just had an idea. I didn't make a new scene. Yeah, this guy's just. When Jeff talks about cards, bam. Tiny little TwitchCon cards. This was making cards. The problem with Blizzard, they don't make cards like I make them.
He's finally recognized.
My cards? Oh, I'll show you my cards. You guys remember my model from earlier? Big stream, big fun. What was the other big thing?
Big head?
Big heads. Big fucking cards. Alright, look. These are the type... Big throws. Yeah, big throws. When we gotta start making some fucking cards, this is the cards we're talking about. Not these fucking puny Jeff cards. Alright? We need crow cards. What? Your fuck doesn't have a giant set of cards.
Thank you, Tato.
Look. Why do I have that? You guys, don't... First of all, don't say that as in, like, I have a single big card. Alright? Alright? I got a whole fucking deck of them. Alright? Look, if I wanted to play cards, alright, I'd shuffle them. Alright? Alright? That was a good bridge. Good bridge. Got it in. Anyways. Look at this. What did I get? What did I get? I got a 5 of a kind. 5 5s. That's how fucking good I am. Big stream, big throws, big cards. Alright? I only deal in bigness. Alright? Thank you. I'm sorry I made you pick this up. Fuck off with these small cards, Blizzard. Done with them. Done with them! Anyways, this is eluded all metaphors whatsoever, so I apologize for that.
Which we call our main play cards. Every now and then, coming in the future, you will see a card pop up that says experimental. This experimental card will be some number of changes. They might be related to hero balance. They might be related to other things. You know, we could be testing changes to the way one of our game modes work, like the control game mode and how it works in competitive. It doesn't have to be balance related. But the experimental card will come up every now and then when we want to test something. And it will give all players of Overwatch, not just players who want to go to the PTR, but all players, including console players, will be able to use the experimental card to test changes out that we're trying as a development team.
Yep.
The really cool thing about the experimental card is because it is in the main game of Overwatch and not some separate public test realm, is that, you know, you'll still be leveling up your Overwatch account.
Okay, so it's a small thing for some people, but this is actually a massive deal. I I think most people don't even install the PTR, and the fact that things hit the PTR, they don't even give a shit. And that's like a majority. That's like 80% of the people, I'd say, don't care about the PTR. The 20% that do care about the PTR, well, about 18% of them don't give a shit because they don't have any reward. There's no incentive to be on the PTR. When this latest patch hit live, and here's the thing, it was all nerfs, more or less, besides the McCree change. No one wants to go to the PTR to test out nerfs. They just don't. It's just not fun. Like, I don't want to... Why would someone subject themselves to not having fun and not getting anything out of it? So this is actually massive. People play on the PTR for the first few days. I played on the PTR the first day that it came out. I searched for a game for 23 minutes, in which case I started up a custom game. There were no other custom games on the first day of the PTR. At that point, my chat had to join in, and then we tested them out. So this was a big issue. It's not even just testing; it's just data testing everything. It's not even like feedback, like proper feedback that they need. Just the fact that people would never play it. This is actually a really big thing as far as data and testing is concerned. So. Props to them for doing this.
You'll still get rewards. If we were running something like, if you remember way back when we had Diva's Nano Cola Challenge, and if you got 9 wins, we gave you a skin, that would apply if the experimental card was up. Those wins would count in the experimental card. So we feel like players will be rewarded. You don't have to change your behavior.
Yep.
It should drive a lot more players to helping us test out changes. Also, unlike the public test realm, the point of the experimental card is not stability and bug testing. That's not what we're really looking for in the experimental card. We're looking at gameplay changes and player reactions to those gameplay changes. So we really...
The funny thing about that statement, and nothing against Jeff or Blizzard, 95% of the people that comment about changes don't play. As soon as the PTR notes hit, no one played the PTR. They just bitched on the forums without even testing it. To the point that, like right now, people will say Orisa's a throw pick and she's absolutely useless. You can still get top 500 with her. So people just overreact both ways, both positive and negative. So.
Really welcome all of you to check this out. It's going to take us a few weeks to get the first experimental card up, so please be patient with us. But you'll notice it when we add it to the game, and we really welcome, in addition to our PC players who have been helping us test on the public test realm, really welcome the entire console community to now help us, try out new and fun ways of playing Overwatch and providing us with feedback. Along with the experimental card, we're also going to change our balance philosophy, which is going to be balance more frequently, more aggressively, and be less concerned with trying.
So first of all, again, I try to I know I'm really hard on Blizzard and Jeff, even though Jeff's just doing it. He's doing what he. That statement right there, they just said, I guess we haven't been doing our job for the last 2.5 years. I guess we have to start doing it. The fact that this wasn't implied, the fact that you don't think you have to balance every couple weeks to a month as the game goes on is insane. I have no other words for it.
Something out and maybe pulling it back later. So that's a change. We're going to try some pretty aggressive balance changes. We are going to deliberately target the meta. Before, we used to balance with stability in mind, stability of the entire game, all players in mind. Now we are going to balance more aggressively, targeting the meta and moving you off of the meta as frequently as possible, which means some heroes might get buffed, some heroes might get some changes to make them weaker. When that happens, we might revert it a few weeks later. So be looking for this type of balancing to happen.
What that means, sorry, this is the keyboard, a piece of the keyboard. So what this whole shebang means. Do you remember when I went really close to the camera and I was like, Jeff, I love you, but I need you to answer this question. Do you think a game development or a gaming company can balance the game properly if they're afraid of their player base? This is the very, very politically correct way of saying, Crow, you were right. That's what he says. He says, Crow, you were right. When we said stability, what it meant was we didn't want to upset players that played that hero. So what we did is we tried to find different ways around it. I don't have Jeff's exact quote. I think it was during a Siegel interview, or like they were both playing at BlizzCon, maybe 2017 or 2018. I forget where. No. It was the interview with the guy that. Oh God, I'm sorry. The guy that doesn't know anything. Stylosa. And Jeff's like, well, we didn't want to upset dive heroes, so we couldn't nerf their precious Tracer Genji, so we had to make Brig. You deserved it. Fuck you, community. That's what he said. He basically said. This is them taking their gloves off and going, look, we tried to be nice about it. We tried to just, like, not nerf stuff, and they don't want to nerf stuff so much he doesn't say it in this video, and it's a really awkward thing where he kind of does. It's funny, but it's coming up. They avoided trying to offend players in their player base, and that's why there were so few nerfs. That's why there were so many reworks, so many buffs. That's why we have every single creep in the game. So yeah, Lucky 8 Ball says it correctly. Daddy Jeff is taking off his belt. Yeah, pretty much. So he's like, all right, look, guys. It's not going to be a very stable game anymore. And by that he means we may make some changes that take a hero out of the game. They balanced to not hurt people's feelings, and now they're like, you can't do that. You can't do that and have a proper game. We're going to... At least, like, this, to me, kind of... Well, he actually says it later on. He's like, we may have to revert some changes, and, like, we're sorry if that happens for a couple weeks, but we're going to have to do them. This is the stance they had to take. They had to make a strong stance and start doing some major... I don't even want to say major changes. For any other game, these would be simple changes to nerf something. Done. But for Blizzard, they didn't do that, so now they kind of have to... They have to go to the kids and they're like, oh, we're sorry. We may hurt your feelings. So sorry if you only played Orisa or if you only played Junkrat, but we may break the hero for 2 weeks. And maybe other people get sad. Like, yeah, fuck up Junkrat. I don't care. I'll still play him. I'll give you guys all the fucking data you want in top 500, in top 100, for a hero that's supposed to be shitty, and you nerf him even more, but I'll give you data for that. Why? That's what I do. I just play Junkrat. That's fine. So now they're going to be targeting, like he said, the meta, i.e., you guys find a strong combo, we're nerfing it. And we're not nerfing it around, like, a different way. They're not going to... So Blizzard tried to outsmart the community all the time. They're like, oh, what do you think is wrong? Snipers? Alright, we're gonna buff... like, Ana. And Ana's gonna nano a dive target, and the dive target's gonna kill all the snipers, and there's nothing they can do about it. So we're going to buff Ana. That's our way of dealing with snipers. I don't think you're going to see that shit anymore. I believe if something is meta and is an issue, they're going to go, alright, we're going to nerf that. Hanzo's an issue? Nerf him directly. This last patch kind of showed that. It was all the big complaints. Except for Widow and Doomfist. They didn't really get changed. By the way, Doomfist, if they just patch out the fact that he can do the phantom shot between slam and hammer, or an uppercut, there'd be no problem.
Be looking for changes in the experimental card, some of which will never go live. So just because you see it on the experimental card doesn't mean it's going to happen in Overwatch. These are some balance changes that are going to be different and coming soon to Overwatch, and all of this is based on what we've been hearing from you. We've been hearing...
I want to take a real negative approach to this, and I apologize. I think the player base has finally hit a point where the people that are making money off this are like, Jeff, you have to fix something. This isn't working. And because of stockholders and because of money, they're finally changing stuff. It's not like, oh God, we're making a bad game. We have to fix it because it's a bad game. They're like, we're not making money, guys. People aren't playing. That's what I really think is happening. I think that's what's finally driven it, is that people just got tired of it. Other games came out, and Who knows what happens when, like, what is it, Project A comes out? They got to change something quick, and this is at least what's coming.
This is what you want. You want us to balance more frequently. You want us to target the meta. You want these changes to happen more often, and you want us to include you in the process more. So all of this is designed to address that feedback. Now, I'd like to talk about Season 21 of Competitive for a minute. Season 21 of Competitive, we are going to try something that's going to be very new and very different to help move players off of the meta, or to prevent players from stagnating on any one meta too long. Coming with Season 21, which begins in March, so you have some time to kind of prepare for this. Coming with Season 21, we will be introducing to competitive only. This will not affect quick play. It will not affect any of the arcade modes. We will be introducing hero pools. Like we have map pools, what hero pools mean is for that week, and the hero pool will only last for 1 week, and then there will be a new hero pool. There will be some heroes that will not be included in the hero pool. For example, in the first week of the hero pool, let's say Season 21 had just started, maybe Orisa, Sigma, May, and Moira are not in the hero pool. So players will have to think of a new strategy that doesn't involve those heroes, and that will last for 1 week, and then the hero pool will change. Again, this is competitive only. This is targeted at keeping the meta fluid, or the meta from stagnating, and really getting to more hero diversity. Now, we know there's some challenges with this concept. This is what I would consider to be something that we would be willing to change if we don't feel like it's going correctly. We could make the hero pools last longer. We can make the hero pools move faster. We can make the hero pools change every match. There's all sorts of ways that we could adjust on this, but starting with Season 21, we're going to start it with a weekly hero pool. Very exciting is that the Overwatch League is excited about this idea as well, and they will be implementing a version of hero pools as well. And the Overwatch
I heard the Overwatch League didn't get told shit about it.
League will be releasing a blog describing how they approach hero pools, and they were very excited to see the meta moving more frequently. Also, just want to say how excited for the 2020 season, which is starting soon for the Overwatch
blah, blah,
League.
blah. Here's
We
me
all
throwing
are.
some propaganda.
So as you can see, there's some very
Okay. So, how do I feel about this? So those of you that listened to my rant last time, that saw my video on YouTube, you will know, Crow, you thought that Blizzard was going to introduce some type of talent system or some type of thing that allows them to balance, that allows players to affect the balance in each game, so that they can, like, basically strategize on the fly. And I would say community. Yes, I did say that. I did think they were going to add in an extra balance point. I did not think they were going to go, guys, banning heroes is dumb. And it takes a long time to add that time into each match. You know what's smart? If I ban heroes. So for those of you that listened to my last discussion, you'd be like, oh, well, Crow, you didn't even want that to change meta. You wanted that because you didn't believe in hero bans, because you're like, oh, well, it bans a certain strategy. Because banning a hero in Overwatch is not like banning a hero in Dota. In Dota, you're trying to stop a specific skill set and a specific advantage. I mean, I guess that kind of is the same. In the game with a certain hero. But there's other heroes that pretty much do the exact same thing, just a little differently. And I'd say, yeah. And if you ban something in Overwatch, it's not like banning a hero. It's like either A, banning a gigantic item, like a big item that defines the game, like Black King Bar in Dota, or it's like banning bottom lane or jungle or mid lane. It's a massive thing because in Overwatch, if I ban Pharah, I'm like, alright, you can't fly. Or if I ban, like, let's just say, like, Tracer or Genji or someone else like that. Let's say I have 2 targeted bans and I pick 2 flankers, or I pick 2 healers. You know, I say, oh, there's a certain way you can play the game, and you're just not allowed to play that. Like, you can ban essentially flankers, and you can not worry about flankers if hero bans are in the game. And so that's why I don't like, and That's why I don't like, I guess, if players could ban it, because they could target specific things like that. Now, with Blizzard targeting the bans, and from what we know, okay, I can't even say from what we know, from what we know about Overwatch League, is that they will ban 1 support, 1 tank, 2 DPSs, and it will be based off of the pick percentage for the prior 2 weeks. An Overwatch League official or someone from the Overwatch, like Blizzard, talked to a guy at ESPN. This is an article. I could probably find it if I wanted to. So that's how it's going to work in Overwatch League. And you're like, all right, so if someone plays meta for 1 week and it gets banned out, they ban the next week whatever they played that week, and they unban what they played the first week. So the thing that bothers me is that it doesn't change that much. Instead of banning a meta and stagnating to a meta, you've stagnated to, yes, Stickfox is right, 2 meta. There's nothing stopping the players from colluding, and based on prior experience, the players will play what is easiest. I don't believe a team will play what they find strongest. Well, they will, but they'll do it based on like what other teams are playing. Basically, each team won't have a playstyle. You're not going to see some team run Junkrat all the time, and some other team run Pharah all the time, and some other, different strategies all the time. Essentially, everyone's going to play one thing. That's going to get banned out. They're going to play a second thing. The first thing gets unbanned, so they play the first thing. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I mean, you could even have crazy shit where, like, you could have some teams rigging it, where they're just like, all right, we're not going to play May this week. Everyone play Junkrat so we can play May next week. Like, they'll get Junkrat banned. Like, there's some weird stuff. But yeah, most likely, so essentially with the pros in Overwatch League, none of the off-meta stuff is ever going to get banned. Essentially, they're going to do whatever's strongest, and then the scuffed version of whatever's strongest. So we might see Dive, and then a scuffed version of Dive. Or we might see, and this would be like the most depressing thing to see, would be what we're going to see is, we're going to have D.Va Reinhardt, let's say it's a tank combo, and you're going to have that interesting dynamic between D.Va and Reinhardt. And then you're going to have something like fucking, I don't know, like Sigma Ball. Sigma Balls, oh, got him. Something like that. Don't look at me like that. Like, it's just going to be a scuffed version of it. I don't think we're going to see, like, everyone's like, we're going to see every meta because you can't... No, we're going to see 2 metas, and one's going to get banned out, and they're going to play. That's all I really see that time. I don't see this as a permanent solution. This is all just because they won't balance the game. Or they perceive the game as unbalanceable. It bothers me that they're doing so much to avoid balancing the game to get this done. I don't. Starkiller says, yep, hero bans are purely for the viewership. I get it. And I know there's a lot of worries. So I will say this, there are some worries. They're like, what about the players? Like, the players and the coaches. They got to come up with strategies on the fly. They got to figure all this stuff out because they're going to know what they're running next week. Like, they get 1 week to prep. And I get it, that's going to add increased stress to players, but at the same time, you're professionals, fucking act. If something crazy happened at my work, it'd be my job to adapt to it immediately and fix it and get it done. So, these guys are good enough. They've been playing long enough. I have no worries about them. Yeah. So, I forget who posted it, but they're like, this is just going to make pros focus on the fundamentals of Overwatch and get good at the game instead of knowing one specific strategy. And there was a highlighted message. And this is how are you going to get good data? And we can kind of talk about this. How are you going to get good, comprehensive data results if some variables, in this case heroes, are arbitrarily removed? Actually, that's the point. So essentially, if we constantly see specific heroes, and this does come down to 2 metas, Well, then we nerf those two here. If we ban, and this is not Overwatch League, let's talk about the ladder now. If we talk about the ladder, and they're like, essentially, people are complaining about one-shots, right? So we go, okay, we're going to ban Widow Hanzo. And then we're going to ban Hog from tanks. And we're going to ban, let's say, Zen, because he has Discord and Volley, from supports. And let's take all the damage amping out. Let's take these one-shots out, and let's see how people like the game. They can run that for a week. They can get some data on that. So it allows them to get some interesting data that they couldn't get before with this new system. It kind of works for them in that aspect, but I think if you just balance the game properly, you could have it. Again, I just think this is all just smoke and mirrors to just avoid people like playing one thing that the dev team can't figure out how to balance. It's just a big fucking smoke and mirrors just to not nerf stuff, and I think they're just taking off the gloves so they don't have to do that with the balance changes. It's really weird. I don't support it at all. I know what people are going to be like, oh, well, you're a one-trick, so of course you wouldn't support it. I'll whoop most people's asses with whatever hero I pick. Maybe not the best players, but I don't give a fuck if I'm top 500. If I stay GM, like, it doesn't fucking matter. And if worst came to worst, I could just tank, support, or tank, and I'd still be high in DPS the next week. There's also some worries about just one-tricks, or people that want to play a specific thing when it gets banned out for a week, they just leave. So I guess that is a smaller concern, but we'll see if that actually happens. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But this whole banning stuff is just strange. It really is. I get it that it does force Overwatch League to change. It does force the ladder. They haven't told us what logic the ladder bannings are going to be on yet, and I really want to know. We can start talking about that then. What about their change to balance philosophy for more aggressive approach? Yeah, no, that's fine. That's great that they're balancing more aggressively. But to me, what everyone states, and let me just look for something really quick. Okay. So this is Jeff's post that he that we went over last week. And this hero banning fixed this. So let's just go over it. This is just an idea in my head. People do not like that the meta stagnates. They believe with hero bans, they will be able to ban out the meta heroes, thus moving the meta. In general, the meta not moving is perceived as player base as bad. So does hero pools change this? Yes, but for a week. It actually doesn't change this. So, his first point, I don't think it gets solved by this. And I say this because it doesn't change people are like, oh, this meta gets banned, then this meta pops up, and then this meta happens, and then that meta happens, and everyone's counterpicking. No, this is what's going to happen. This meta's going to pop up, this meta's going to pop up. This meta's going to pop up, the same one, and this meta's... That's all that's going to happen. You need to have... And it's good that they're doing aggressive balancing, and this may just be like a stopgap. I think I said this before, and sorry if I repeat myself, because I just kind of go off on tangents and I forget shit. I think the developers have come to the conclusion that this game is not balanceable. To have just a sledgehammer, because people are frustrated about all the balance of certain heroes. With hero bans, they feel like they can ban out heroes that are frustrated. Alright, so this doesn't solve this one, obviously. People do not like playing against certain heroes. With hero bans, they feel like they can ban out heroes that they don't. Essentially, hero bans doesn't do anything for this. Or hero pools doesn't do anything. But just implementing hero bans does not mean the meta will move. And this is the weird part. Like, this is Jeff himself saying this. Just because you have a ban doesn't mean it moves. The result is a ban meta. What? Like, so, hold on. So the same heroes get banned for a period of time? Maybe a week? So that doesn't fix it, but isn't that the hero pool? And the big thing about people that they like, oh, I get to choose what gets banned. Because Blizzard doesn't know what's ban worthy or not. Of course, it doesn't solve that, and you know this line down here. And Jeff's like, look, you don't get to decide what other people play. But yeah, that doesn't actually change anything there. This is not a solution. It just doesn't work. Do you think the higher ups of Activision Blizzard forced Jeff and the Overwatch team to do this? I can't speak to that. I don't think so. And Luca makes a good point. Is there hope that they can manufacture the experimental chaotic phase of the game right after there is the big balance ban? I think so. I think they're trying to manufacture chaos. But I don't think it's going to work to plan. The only thing that's really making this whole thing pay off is the fact that they're doing aggressive balance changes with it.
Very big changes coming to Overwatch. As always, we
I
are
think this
listening
is just
to
anti-cheat.
you. And if we feel like any of these things aren't working out well, we're always open to change and iteration. We have that experimental card. We have hero pools coming to Season 21. Now, that's not all. As always, there's a huge anti-cheat.
Okay, he just goes into anti-cheat about that. So these last couple points, it's like writing a paper. Right? What's the intro? Tell them what you're gonna tell them. What's the 3 meaty paragraphs? Well, tell them. What's the conclusion? Tell them what you told them. So he's doing his conclusion thing here, and just listen to this.
Changes coming to Overwatch. As always, we are listening to you. And if we feel like any of these things aren't working out well, we're always open to change and iteration. We have that experimental card.
It really sounds like the balance team got grilled for long enough that someone, and maybe there is some truth to this, that someone finally at Activision Blizzard, they're just like, all these guys got your complaints about them and they look to be true. Because, alright, I shouldn't talk about this, but let's talk about it. Let's just say a coworker gets fired. Hypothetical. Do you know what that coworker's gonna do usually? When you're just like, you're not doing your job. When people fall, they tend to reach up and grasp at anything they can get. And they go to their manager and they're like, no, I am doing underscore what you said I wasn't doing and underscore what I wasn't doing because of these people. It sounds like Jeff filled in the blanks. He's like,
Overwatch League.
He's telling this to his boss.
We all are. So as you can see, there's some very big
No.
changes
Trust me.
coming to Overwatch.
I'm doing my job.
We are listening to you.
I'm listening to you.
And if we feel like any of these
what else
things
did you say I
aren't
didn't
working
do?
out well, we're
Oh yeah,
always
no.
open to change
No, I do revert changes sometimes. I do. Trust me, I do.
iteration. We have that experimental card. We have hero pools coming to Season 21. Now that's not all.
But yeah, so it sounds like he's someone that got grilled for not doing his job. Maybe he was. That's what it really sounds like. So, do I think hero bans are the right direction for Overwatch? No. I don't. Do I mean all of Blizzard? Yes, I'm using the royal sense when I say Jeff. I'm not talking. Look, whenever you talk about a development team or a game, it's not just this guy doing it. There are lots of people involved, and he's just the figurehead. Box Ghost says, we had Dive for a year, we had Moth for months, we had Goats for almost a year, now we had Double Shields for how long? About 6 months. So, yeah, they've essentially never been able to do things in a timely manner. They've never been able to balance the game. They're too afraid to make changes, and they're fixing that. Don't get me wrong, they're fixing all of that. And all that they had to do to fix that was the aggressive balance changes. Done. That is all they had to do. But this hero ban phase feels like a really heavy-handed approach. Just to be like... It forces you. And that gets me into my next little talk, whatever you want to say. So why do they do both at the same time? I don't understand. I think it's just one is to make sure that it never happens again, and the other one is to address the problem finally. So after Jeff did this video, some guy put this post on the forum. He's like, Blizzard kept saying this game is about being able to play several heroes and flexing between them, but basically this is the first time Blizzard supports this statement with in-game mechanics, which I think is good for the game overall. Well, it's because you actually can't have... maybe they actually did what I said to them, and I said, alright, hero swapping. It works in theory, and they're like, yes. And I'm like, alright, did you test it in an attack-defense game? They're like, what do you mean? And, well, if you take hero swapping, the attackers can swap heroes, the defense can't swap heroes. So obviously the offense wins, right? If you believe that there should be quote-unquote counters, meaning I run X, you cannot do anything because I have X and you have Y. Basically rock, paper, scissors. As soon as they did that, they're like, oh shit, guys, the whole hero swapping thing doesn't work in this game. It doesn't work. So, when this guy states this is the first Blizzard in-game mechanic that supports it, it is, but it's such a heavy-handed one, it seems ridiculous. The design philosophies aren't lining up. A lot of this, there's just... none of it lines up. It's telling everyone to counterpick heroes. And I said it in my first blog post. The whole thing about counterpicking is to essentially limit how much damage a hero can do because of too much skill. It's there to prevent skill. Oh, this guy's super good with this, well, I got a counter. Can't do anything. Done. It's a way to force even games. You stop people from getting too good. So the fact that you have offense, defense, that doesn't work with counters because it's not equal. I guess the whole ultimate charge, you can't save that because heroes charge ultimate different rates. And then this system which says, hey, play different heroes every other week. It's just weird. So this guy puts it out, and he says, thanks for the feedback. Oddly, we're not viewing this change as dramatic, scary, or impactful as the decision to pursue hero limits or a decision to implement role queue. Hero pools will be introduced in Season 21 of Competitive Play only. Unlike role queue or hero limits, quick play in the arcade will be completely the same as they are today with hero pools. This alone means that a number of affected matches is far less than the two prior systems. Also, we're super open to change with hero pools. If we, the dev team and the community, don't... And look how he keeps on keeping in the community, like he got yelled at for not listening. Don't feel like it's a positive change during Season 21, then we won't be back to Season 22. We get a lot of feedback asking for competitive seasons to feel different from one another. Well, just making arbitrary changes that affect the entire system isn't a fucking way. He's like, oh yeah, so Season 21, we're gonna fuck it up. We're throwing it in a dumpster. Season 22, it's not in a dumpster. Guess what? Season 23, we're gonna throw it in a smaller fucking trash can and light it on fire. Don't worry, each season feels different. It's like, yeah, they feel different in shitty ways. Like, don't just change shit, because change. Season 20 and 21 will certainly feel different. Also, something we talk a lot about in game design is that there is often no one correct answer. True. Design is all about trade-offs. The thing that the community decides is most erroneous I said it right. Is a static meta, and they want the dev team to do something about it. We're going to take steps towards change. We can't force the meta to move and not make the game work differently. Yeah, you can balance the game. Last year was great proof that player creativity and balance changes alone weren't enough to move people off of 3-3 fast enough for the community to feel satisfied. The meta would have moved on in its own, just slowly. This pisses me off. Shanghai Dragons did figure it out. Or they were on the verge of figuring it out. But that was after, like, 3 or 4 patches. If Blizzard aggressively balanced the game, this statement wouldn't be true. I don't like that he blames the community. We did everything we could with our balance changes, but you guys just weren't satisfied on it being fast enough. Well, yeah, because you did shitty small changes very slowly. If you just said, hey, we're nerfing Brig, Zarya, Reinhardt, Diva, all these people. We're nerfing Lucio, we're nerfing Ana. We nerfed everyone in 3-3. Guess what? It would have changed the day of. This actually kind of really pisses me off. This is their own fault, and they blame the community. We decided to help you move it along. Again, he's blaming us. He's like, you guys fucking suck at balancing this game through figuring out the meta. You can't do it because you're dumb kids. We're going to introduce a system that forces you to do it because you're just not responsible enough to do it yourself, even though it's because of our balancing that we did this. If there are things we don't like about hero pools, we can change it. Maybe we don't come back for Season 22. Maybe they rotate faster. Maybe more or less heroes should be in the pool. We'll find all this out in Season 21. But really, this should be viewed as a fun and exciting change to Season 21. We want seasons to feel different, right? Again, people are like, we want seasons to feel different. And he takes this and he fucking monkey paws it. That's gonna be my new, like, nickname for fucking Jeff Kaplan Ding Dong, the monkey paw. He's like, oh, you guys don't want Dive to be there anymore? And his fucking hand crumples up and he's like, and it's like, Brig is created. Oh, you want seasons to feel different? And it's like hero ban pool. You know what I mean? Like, this fucking monkey's paw. It's just like, he's gonna do it 5 times. I'm betting it. I'm betting it right now. He's gonna be like, oh, you want, snipers are too bad. So, and all of a sudden, just like, I don't know. It's a monkey's paw. I just don't know. He does something crazy that makes, like, snipers not viable, but, like, he buffs Dive. Like, oh, Hammond does 150 damage with Slam now, and people just snipers just explode, and everyone hates the game. Like, you don't need to expand this expression? Sorry, Deadly Nips. Okay. So, the monkey's paw it's literally a hand of a monkey. And it will grant you wishes. And every time you grant a wish, it will grant it, but it does it at some fucked up cost. It's like, oh, I want to be super rich. So it takes, like, all of your parents' money and all the people you know and love and all their money and gives it to you, and it forces them to die a horrible death of cancer. Like, oh, well, I did what you want. And, like, that's a monkey's paw. Yeah, it's a genie, but it's just like a horrible, evil Evie? Evie's a nice girl. It's a horrible, evil genie. Yeah, so Mr. Monkey Paw himself, this scares me. This fucking scares me. And time will tell after that happens. Based on the community. Like, he wants to punish us? And make us feel bad for it. But yeah. Then he posts some more. For the first 5 weeks, we'll be trying a range to see what feels right. We've architected the system so we can update the hero pools without needing the patch. So we're monitoring feedback very closely, experimenting a bit with pool and adapting our strategy as time goes on. He goes on. The card won't be ready until end of February. For now, you can test it by not playing 12 for the week. Next week, don't play Symmetra. Just Josh. I got it. He has a sense of humor, right? He's not a robot. Yes, we've definitely considered it. It's like, Would you consider rotating hero pools every few days instead? 1 week is far too long, in my opinion, and once every match can come across as too hectic. This comes back to the original purpose of the hero pool. What is the purpose of this banning? Is it to make people play different things? Because that's just a ban system. It's just you pick what's banned and not me. It doesn't fix any of the issues that me personally, Pro, sees with the system, right? Because my critique on the ban system is that, right, it bans specific ways of playing the game outright, which is ridiculous. That's why I don't like the ban system. It's not the same as just removing a hero. But yeah, we talk about rotating every day. We also talk about rotating every match. We don't like it going longer than a week because we want more heroes to be played, but open to feedback. Discussion is open for Overwatch 2. No, I have to type. Yeah. Regardless of the scoreboard in Overwatch 2, we definitely want to do with more stats. That's good. We talked about season rotation, but taking out a hero out of play for 2 months makes us a bit nervous. Never say never, but it's our first instinct. I get it. You can limit heroes to try. Okay, that's all. So, that's it, boys. Overwatch, hero bans. Sorry. Yeah. There we go. Everything's back to normal. Sweet. It worked out well. That's kind of how I feel about Overwatch hero bans right now. I don't know what they're trying. I read it all, and I still say I don't know what they're trying to target. If they're trying to change the meta, as soon as you unban the heroes you banned, people will go right back to it. I guess the idea is that you try something different. You're forced to try something different, and because of that, when things go back to normal, you'll do that. Like, you'll be like, oh, this strategy is strong. It's as strong as this other strategy, so let's try it. That is best case scenario. And I guess it does accomplish that, but my fears are that people will just pick a second strategy to run. It'll become meta for a week. People will watch the big streamers and just run it constantly. The other problem is that, and maybe this is just a transitional season. Because if you keep banning different heroes and the community learns about all this stuff, well, you're still banning heroes. So the community actually has no real way of implementing, right? Because not all heroes are available. So maybe you do, like, every now and then you do these seasons where you force people to try different things. And then the season after, you let them just be free beasts and see what they do. I just knowing people, like, being a gamer for 20 years now, over 20, probably over 20. People will constantly go back into that rut. People will constantly go back to meta. So that's what I see is going. But for Overwatch League, it should be really good. I will say that. I will also say, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing. So for those of you that don't know, Overwatch League will do this hero banning thing as well. Or hero pools. I can't call it hero ban. Hero pools. But any tournament, like any mid-stage tournament or grand finales or any type of that, it's gone. And the first thing in my head that that hits is, wait a second. So you're having a whole season of, hey, you can't play this strategy. Oh, you can't play this strategy. You can't play this strategy. You can't play this strategy. And then you're like, oh, to see who's the best at not doing each of those strategies, you're allowed any strategy. And I feel like it's just going to go back to like double shield or something. You know, it's going to go back to just the most strongest meta, and that's going to be ran whenever all the limits come up. So part of me, the first part of me, didn't like that. But then I started thinking of it, and I'm like, actually, if the team that can stay like prevalent and win, and it does have a lot to do with schedules, because like maybe you get a week where your best strategy is banned, and you just so happen to go up against a shitty team, and you can beat them with a bad strategy. So, that would technically, outside of that example I just did, that would technically show the better team fundamental, right? Like, oh, this team stayed on a huge winning streak through every single hero pool that we threw at them. That team is clearly superior. They should have the first. So, part of me is like, all right, that's fine. So, I for Overwatch League, I like it. I like it for Overwatch League. I also like it how they target the meta heroes and they just throw them all away. Because while in Dota and League and all these people with targeted bans every single game, what that allows them to do is they're allowed to be like, oh man, we just saw the really good strategy in that last game and they're going to crush us with it and we can ban them. What Overwatch League and the hero pool thing does, it kind of does that, but they're just like, look, we know you guys are going to run this strategy, so every team's going to ban it out. We're banning it out for everyone. That's it. Figure out how to play the game. So in the general sense, it does the same thing as hero bans. And again, it does it without increasing time between games, and it does it without arguing about stuff or targeted bans. It's not like pros in the game. I'll ban Junkrat, right? It's like it's not like very personal. It's not like people are picking on someone or anything like that. So that's all good stuff. Yeah, no team will ever do well in every pool. Yeah, no fucking clue. You can't say that. I didn't read all of Jeff's posts. I mean, I'll just turn that off. Workshop creators love some of that stuff. Oh, hold on. Do you think it will make Overwatch teams choose to become better at off-meta comps so they're less likely to have their best strat banned? No, but historically, even when we have done constant and dramatic balance changes, it takes the meta a long time to shift. We'd love it if balance played. That son of a bitch. That son of a bitch. Where's my angry face? I don't know where to put myself. What an asshole! Historically, even where's my I'll scoot over for this. Historically, even when we have done consistent and dramatic balance changes, which they have never done in the history of Overwatch, it takes the meta a long time to shift. We'd love it if balance or player creativity alone would shift the meta fast enough to meet players' demands. That is the biggest bullshit I've ever heard. Again, he blames the community for not being able to figure out the fucking game when he couldn't balance it. This is asinine. Like, this is a pot shot at people that played GOATs. This is ridiculous. How does he have the balls to say this? He's like, look, guys, we tried really hard trying to get rid of goats. And even though we made very consistent and dramatic balance changes, but disregard my entire dev update where I said we're finally being aggressive with our changes. But besides that, like, we were doing even though my current statement contradicts that. But it takes a long time for the meta to shift. Even though we did 2 patches in 1 week, and everyone dropped double shield instantly? What? This last week proves that if you balance the game, the meta shifts like this. Sorry. Like this. And it was my title of my last stream. This is asinine. My title of my last stream was, I've never, in my history of all of gaming, I have never ever seen the meta change so drastically off of 1 patch. And that doesn't show how broken Double Shield was. It shows how much people fucking hated playing it. I'll say it, I said it before, I'll say it again. I have never ranked up higher than I have in these last 6 months of Overwatch. I've been top 50 every single season. For the last 3 seasons. 2 seasons, sorry. I have never had less fun in Overwatch than I did in these last 3 seasons. So, it's ridiculous. Did I see the custom game policy up that Blizzard put out? They're just not allowing Dota to ever happen again. They're saying we own everything. See stats associated with E3 play on Overwatch 2. We work closely with Overwatch League on all decisions. We just chat. We're curating the list ourselves. Is there a ban protection for popular heroes? Let's say Mercy. Let's Mercy. Let's say Mercy ban for 1 week and play a lot next week. Will she be protected or not be banned for the 3rd week again? What's the plan? We're curating the list ourselves. We'll have some philosophies and guidelines we will be following, evolving as we hear your feedback. We will do our best to be judicious and make sure no hero is getting the Horizon treatment, as with our map. Well, they acknowledge that everyone hates Horizon and fucking Barracks. We would never limit the pool to just 1 tank. You'll never be forced to play a single tank such as Diva as described above. If you love playing all the other tanks, you'll be fine. Well, I don't care what that guy says. It's green text, that means he's not a real person. How will you be choosing which heroes don't make it into the pool? Will the heroes that are meta, or will it be more random? Combination. It's curated by us, so it will be a combination of targeted metas that players are being vocally negative about. Recent example, double barrier, goats. And slightly encouraging other playstyles, i.e. more mobile games. That would be fun for you. But I'm sure we'll refine our approach over time. With the 1-3-2 system we have earlier, yeah, experimental mode, yeah. You know that I can't. Yeah, next hero. This version, this is going to be different at each rank. Not in this version. Interesting idea, though. It is an interesting idea. My big thing about this whole pool is what's the data that they're getting back. Experimental mode is interesting. Are the new possible systems will be tested here? How safe is this for the Overwatch client? Yada yada. We'll still be using the PTR for major patches and major changes. For example, we're testing a new hero or map that will go in the PTR, not the experimental card. Okay, good to know. The experimental card uses a different data set that was engineered by people far smarter than I am. I'm going to be working on matching wrong, right? So there's a question here, but can you please say something about Smurfs on consoles? I know they can create a limited amount of accounts. It's a very hard problem to solve, but we have some ideas. Any solutions is more long-term, though, possibly Overwatch 2 or later. Sorry, no, it's not the answer you wanted to hear, but it's actually very complicated with the way consoles work and rules regarding account creation. That's a fun. What is the best waifu? Hammond, May, Tracer. I don't like how the Blizzard tracker doesn't get games. Nothing important there. So, that's just dumb about applying different hero bands at different ranks. Which would be really weird for people that are like 3,900 and like 90. Do they get placed into a Grandmaster game and get like all these snipers banned, or do they get placed into a Masters game and have some other type of ban list. Gonna need some tea now. Thanks for all the thoughts and questions. Yada yada yada. I assume that's the end of it all. Let's just make sure because the Blizzard shit is here. Let me use page down. It's fast. Page down. If you're quoting them, stop quoting them. Fucking A. At this point, like it was posted 5 minutes ago, so he's. That's all. Thank you. Thank you for showing me that there was more. And just thanks for I don't know, getting me riled up. Man, that this is gonna be like a 2-hour video on YouTube. I apologize to all my YouTube video people. What am I gonna do when Junkrat gets banned for another week? Play another hero. Like, I have no problem playing other heroes. People that have watched me for a long time can like attest. So if Crow isn't quite good with Genji, how the hell is he gonna climb? I guess that was a climb. You top 100 combined during rep ban. I mean, that's the thing. I could play tank. I could play support. I mean, if I get a week off, then I get a week off. Also, in the future, if you go to the main page of the forums dev tracker. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I did play Widow that one time, and I didn't beat the Contender's Widow, but I did whoop his ass the first round, and then I got my ass kicked the second.
My genius is finally recognized.
Oh shit, with the big sub. Yeah, so if there's no more questions, I think that's like... I think I've drilled it in immensely. I think I just drilled it in. I've repeated myself so many goddamn times. Is there any other questions? Anything else? I can't believe I've been bitching for 2 fucking hours. Holy shit.
My genius is finally recognized.
Frackle with the big sub. He gifted 5 subs. Thank you so much, Frackle. Thank you for your own sub, Frackle. Just play with you one. Bring.
My genius is finally recognized.
You think Junkrat won't be banned since no one plays him? I think the off-meta heroes will be rarely banned. Alright, that is a big sub notification. Going over there, son.
My genius is finally recognized.
Huge subs, huge. I don't see the point in banning off-meta heroes.
My genius is finally recognized.
Like, what data do you get? You don't get any data. Do you see people playing more? Probably not. Like, let's say they just had a weird week where they're like, we're banning Winston, Junkrat, Symmetra, Torb, and whoever's the least popular support hero. All the support heroes are pretty popular. Brig. Like, oh man, do you know what's possible to run? Everything you ran normally, like what most meta is possible. So like, if the whole purpose is to shift meta and you're having hero pools, then you do have to target meta. Yeah, man, you're a top 500 consistent climber. There's no doubt considering your skills, but this isn't an optimal outcome because you're fighting against some of the tough sons of a no-no word. It's not a fair system. What do you mean, Skloobs? Are you saying the system isn't fair because I'm really good with one hero and not other heroes? Are you trying to... I think he means if Junk gets banned. Yeah, I think he's trying to rile me up, but you can't rile me up, guys. You know why? You can't ruffle my feathers. Because A, I don't got feathers. If you're trying to ruffle my head, barely got any hair, you can't ruffle that either. Good job. Look. Whoa, my hair's getting so messed up, guys. Oh, shit. It doesn't work on me. I'm immune. Ruffle my beard? I'm fine with that. I don't gotta deal with that. You guys got it. Nothing happened. It's a beard. It just stays there. No, I don't see it as, but my precious Jimmies, yeah, no, trust me, my Jimmies, I got my Jimmies in a row. Trust me. People are just mocking one trick on Twitter. Yeah, no, everyone's like, it's one tricks. Because most of the one tricks that they're, and maybe this is just me, but when people complain about one tricks, they're like Junkrat, Torb, Sim, Rig, off metas that can only play one hero. What they don't talk about is like the people that only play Widow or only play Dive, stuff like that. They don't want to make fun of those people because those guys play meta and they're good people. But I think almost everyone's going to be fine. This is for your sake too. I'm a one-trick drunk. I can't climb. If they ban drunk right, unlike you, you're a top 500. Well, Scoobs, if you can literally only play one hero, then yeah, it does affect you. There have been notions. There's been some people talking on the forums, and they're like, well, the one tricks just won't play then. And most of the people are like, yeah, good. They suck. They shouldn't play. And on the other side of the coin, you're like, all right, I guess you're losing people, which is fine. Like that's the whole thing. We're aggressively balancing the game, so that this is going to happen. The meta is going to change so drastically when Bastion gets banned. Yeah, exactly. Like that would be such a waste of a week. Do you have any positive takeaways that you haven't mentioned? The positive, like, overall, I know I've been very negative this whole dev update, and that's because, like, Jeff said some really dumb stuff. Like, you guys can't figure out the meta, so we're making you do other things when they never tried to balance the game before. Just the first part of the video. That is it. When they go, we are now aggressively balancing the game. Before we balanced for stability, aka we balanced so we didn't hurt anyone's feelings. And now we're balancing for making the game balanced, and we will hurt your feelings by making some heroes dog shit for a week. That is the best news Overwatch has had. This whole hero pool thing, guys, I don't think it's going to do shit. I don't think it's going to do shit. I think it's going to be a gimmick for the first month or 2 months, and then after that, people are going to... It's just going to be like when a big patch comes out. Yeah, for 1 week, it gets a little rowdy, and then they figure it out. I guess if you change it every week, oh man, they'll never figure it out. Well, no, they're just going to figure it out, and then they change it the next week, and they just go back to what they did, the week prior to that, like on odd weeks. Like, all right, guys, we run dive week 1, 3, 5, and 7, and then we run double shield 2, 4, 6, and 8. That's what I feel like is going to happen. I think for Overwatch League, it's going to be great. The fact that there is a method to their madness, and they're just like, we're banning the meta heroes. Figure out other shit to do. Do you think hero bans are more effective in other games because you can't switch characters? No. That's the exact opposite thing that I believe, Spaghetti. I believe that banning heroes in Overwatch is immensely impactful, and that's why I don't like it. Because it's like banning an item or as drastic as a lane. Like, imagine playing Dota and just be like, I banned the jungle. And people are like, what? You're like, yeah, I banned jungle and top lane. That's what it's like banning a hero in Overwatch, because a hero is the method to play the game. You don't pick a jungling hero, or you don't pick a hero that can kind of jungle. In Overwatch, you pick Tracer that does X. If you ban Tracer and Genji, you just say you can't flame. More or less. Hero bans are more dramatic in Overwatch. That's 100%. Also, there's just less heroes. And heroes have more specific roles. Ignore your comment because they're not questions. No, Indigo, I just haven't seen it. If the hero pool will be decided by the community preference, or whatever Jeff said, won't annoying heroes get left out more than that, instead of actually balancing them? No, I don't believe so. Well, yeah, so I get what you're saying. If off-meta is annoying, and they don't ban off-meta stuff because no one's playing them, will they actually do that? Yeah, I no, they will balance them. I think they're going to be balancing stuff more often, and they are. They said it, and they actually did the last 2 weeks. They proved it. They actually backed it up with some words. They went back on some changes. They've actually done a lot of action in the last 3 weeks that have proved to me more than most that they're capable of doing their job. Whatever lit a fire under the balance team's ass, it's working. Let's go back to the initial question. What's the purpose for implementing hero pools? To force meta to change, but I don't think it's going to force constant meta changes. I think it's going to force 1 or 2 metas. I think on the back end, they're going to... I think it's going to be tailored so they can get some good data. That's what I can't say that's what they're going to do. If I was in Jeff's shoes, I'd be like, all right, this week we're banning Doomfist, Widow, Hanzo, Zen, and then Hog. And I'd be like, let's see how the community deals with no, like, quote-unquote, burst damage and one-shots for a week. Are they happy? Is there more positive reinforcement? What strats are strong? What did people find meta? What did people find not? Yeah. That's how I would use the system. I wouldn't use the system just to be like, fuck Tor players. Tor's banned this week. Fuck you, Tor players. Let's pick a new hero. Yeah. Any other questions? This is going to be like an hour and a half. No one's going to watch it. No one's going to make it. So. Ban system that was only 1 ban per team. The ban decided for the enemy team. No. Works out quite well. Yep, Indigo. Yes, that I said that. Yes. With Blizzard making the bans, they can, 1, tailor it so they can accumulate data. And 2, it's not targeted bans, so they can't, like, they see Crow in the game, they're like, let's ban Junkrat, so people don't feel, like, personally attacked. And people also get kind of a timeline when, hey, you can play this hero again. It's not like, because if they introduce the ban system, they're like, well, any game I cannot play my hero. And I'm already in the game, so I can't change that. Now it's like, oh, I can't play Overwatch because I only played Junkrat, and Junkrat's banned this week, so I'll just play another game, and I'll play it. Right, it's less aggressive against people who find it aggressive. Okay, so that seems like that's it. I will stop the video here.